Imagine, if you will, a place. Alright? You're doing good so far. Where beyond the incandescent firelight criminal dealings meet conniving pseudoscience, for example, inertia, simply no such thing. Where the source of hand-to-hand combat skill and Jackie Chan chair proficiency are directly proportional to your standing in the underworld. And none of that really matters to me because I have nasally administered a bowl full of gemstones and cigarettes to call upon the wrath of God. Just kidding, he wouldn't be here. Baltimore is living proof that God is not. So Judgment is a 2018 fever dream simulator taking place within the Like a Dragon hallucination and adding many new exciting features that are not tailing missions, such as a filthy Gaijin English dub. Greg Chun's breakout role, in fact, so this game may or may not be directly responsible for I played these games. Named after the funny karaoke song as an SEO scam, the plot of Judgment so far is about finding the identity of a guy in a raincoat that likes to put sharp things through people's eyeballs and how he is connected to this health center that makes Percocet. You would know that if you watched the first part, which you should do, because without the context provided from the first half of this video game, you may begin to actually understand something. I cannot have that. So anyways, just for a recap, we were here.
Like a movie, my eyes are like a Uzi, jacuzzi. Get the fuck out of the way!
After beating the daylights out of Higashi again, my dad Matsugane mopes in and tells me how senile he is. Yeah, great, I couldn't tell. Not like he was 20 years back when I was fresh off the Disneyed parents, where him and his Sharpie markings you could confuse for a beard would tell me life lessons in alleyways that Kaito stole my lunch money in. But anyways, he drops the most crucial piece of info so far, which is that the mole is a hired gun for Hamura. That's their connection at least, but apparently they're just puppets for a larger scheme. So before we track down Hamura, I want you to put some wrinkles on that pink mass in your skull because we're gonna go over every single possible suspect, starting with everyone who's not. First, not Hamura. What, you want me to spell it out? I just said how it can't happen, and he would be in jail anyways. If you were paying attention and didn't skip here, then you might need some AD9. We can rule out Matsugane because he's old, and we can triple rule out Kajihira because he's old, he's wheelchair old, and his construction company is working against the ADDC while Hamura and the mole work with it. And because Hattori, the journalist, reports to him, then unless this game's plot turns into 5D chess, he's out too, and so is the whole Kyorei clan, like Murase and the rooftop guy. Mafiu can't be the mole. There's no proof she isn't, but she's too boring. Shintani is dead. Kaito was on slightly unfavorable terms with Hamura before all this, and he's the homie, so yeah, probably not him. Beta male Hoshino is out. It's not just like he wouldn't kill someone. No, I just don't think he'd be able to interact with Hamura without being victimized. And our old friend Shinpei Okubo is in prison. How would he even do all that? So that leaves the possible suspects. First up, I'm thinking Senator Armstrong, alright? Keeps trying to block my questions at the ADDC. Izumida and Morita, public prosecutor and public prosecution aide, or respectively. I tried explaining them all to them, and they looked like they were either holding in maniacal laughter or trying to make my head explode with their mind. Can't tell who and which, but they're on the table. Shono and Kido both work for Big Pharma and as such are connected to the mole. Kuroiwa, he just kinda hates me. Ayabe was probably your first guess, you know, on account of the whole outright stating he will kill me thing, but Izumida and Morita just arrested him for something he probably didn't do in the most suspicious way possible, so I don't know. Saori Shirosaki, probably not, but I would let her kill me. And that leaves the Twinks. I don't trust them. They are not to be trusted. But in true Yakuza fashion, the plot will eventually culminate in a 1v1 death battle with the mole, and I don't know if you kept track, but this is our second time folding Higashi like a lawn chair, and while I haven't fought Sugiura yet, I personally receive a damage buff against Gingers. Neither of them will be a threat. And lastly, the mole could always be me on a lot of drugs. Time will tell, and this freak will be brought to justice. Judgment, perhaps. Now, we don't even know if the mole is on here, let alone if we've even met him yet, but it's important to note that any one of these people could still be a collaborator to this conspiracy, so in the same vogue as an unmedicated schizo, believe as such. Great, okay. If you remember from last episode where I mentioned in passing that Hamura is lying low, that is in fact a very big problem, because these Yakuza clans are at each other's throats, and the only person who knows what the serial killer even looks like is currently somewhere in Thailand where he can peacefully do, Hamura things.
You keep moving like that, I'm gonna put a fucking baby in you.
But he has to give out his orders to the Matsugane family office, so the first part of my plan involves getting some wiretaps. After heading to the internet cafe, blowing up some of the cubicles with my face, and asking Tsukumo to make me some, apparently Sugiura isn't exactly keen on getting organ trafficked, so fine. Sneaking in and placing the bugs is my job then. To do that, we're gonna have to steal the clothes of popular YouTuber ProZD and pretend to be him to anyone who asks. So after me and Kaito beat the snot out of this man, Jesus Christ, Rumpelstiltskin calls and starts laughing at me for not getting him killed. So after I talk myself down from testing out that damage buff thing, I begin sneaking in and installing KGB spyware on the office PlayStation 8. Now I know what you're thinking, did this work? The answer is, kind of. But we did eventually get a beat on Hamura, who's at this new gambling hall, so after asking around at the old gambling hall,
Ass on her.
After eventually tracking that place down, we find Hamura just straight beat the brakes off him and throttle him for information. We learned that Shintani called the ADDC to get to Shono, meaning that he's far more involved in this than we first thought, and can you please not set Kaito on fire for like 3 more seconds? Is that a grenade? Really good thing that this bar doesn't run on the Dragon Engine physics. The next morning, Hoshino says that he found some documents on 89, but neither of us can decipher the gobbledygook of scientists wanting to sound smart, so apparently I have to beg for help from my main op, journalist Hattori. Remember, this guy's been on and off harassing me for the Emi Terasawa thing, and we could only confirm he wasn't involved in the mole case recently by proxy to Kajihira. So I showed up to meet him at a ramen joint. Does he bully us again? No. Does he ask for anything in return after this? No. I guess he's just part of the crew now. So Hattori starts pulling up Death Stranding medical documents on the off chance the player doesn't know what brain regions are affected by Alzheimer's, but yeah, in other news, the guy responsible for the creation of 89 is apparently Shono. Yeah, go figure. Hattori believes that there is absolutely nothing suspicious going on with the drug, and personally believes that they should push it forward to clinical trials, or to put it less nicely, human experimentation. Wait, hey guys, 89 totally just kills humans and the mole victims were actually secret test subjects? I agree, that makes total sense, man. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, no.
Tinfoil hat shit about goddamn human experiments.
Shut up, Kaido.
Next, you're gonna tell me they experimented on old man Waku too. Fucking idiots.
Oh yeah, that one guy that Shinpei Okubo supposedly killed, even though it's kind of iffy if he even did, and the only way he could have died otherwise would have to be, I don't know, from being experimented on by the ADDC. Kaito, are we stupid? Okay, new hypothesis. The ADDC at large is trying to iron out 89's lethality with whatever street trash they can find to test on, and they've got Hamura and his mole on call to do it. Also, Shinpei Okubo really didn't murder that guy. Or Emi. Sugiura mentions that this new theory may or may not conveniently excuse all my faults, especially on Emi's death, and to that, I'm gonna have to kill him, but before I do, it's time to dig up that old file on Okubo. I keep telling Genda that I never really closed the book on that one, and that I am a stupid, unlovable baka chud doomer, but he assures me to remember the time that my lawyer dad got into a case like this, and then like he died. But anyways, I decided to visit Shinpei Okubo for the first time in 3 years, and yeah, it's not good. The general populace is gonna have him disemboweled in front of a crowd for his execution. Everyone does not like the guy. He keeps telling me he still never killed anybody, and even though I am trying my hardest to get out of the conversation as fast as possible with a yeah, sucks to be you, man, I think I now know who actually killed them both. When they finally let me out of there, I decide to go to, oh, what a wonderful evening, Pookie. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna go get blackout drunk, and so nice of you to look after that mean Canyon character on the force, but I just wanted to say, maybe kill yourself? Like, just a little? For me? Hey, look, that's great, but oh, would you look at the time? I gotta go fill out that minority quota. Haven't shot enough of them. I mean, I'm already here, so. Oh yeah, look out for Cane Man. Cane Man? Right. I died like 5 times here. I don't know. His legal name is Cane Man. How do I react to that? Remember when I said that I think I know who actually killed both of those people instead of Okubo? Because I'm gonna go pay them a visit at the ADDC. Come on, V for Vendetta, let's rock. So after we pull up to the center, this is why I don't take you anywhere. And while we did find our guy, a personal security team showed up to request that we follow them behind the shed. You know what? I think I'll take you up on that. I'm sure this will work out great. The next morning, head researcher Shono starts making his morning rounds and... Hi.
Why are you two here?
Now in the room of that dead dementia patient, I begin telling him about...
There's a good boy.
Shut up! You're weird!
I begin telling him about how much of his secret I know, because I know that dementia patient Waku was the first secret 89 test subject by a completely rogue Shono, but because of a catastrophic error with the drug, ended up dying as a side effect. And from there he thought, wait a minute, our new laundry intern has a criminal record in specifically alcohol-related tomfoolery, why don't I make this his problem because no one will believe him? So he carted Waku off to the downstairs garage and dumped him in. This indeed did go off without a hitch, because if Okubo did see him and reported it, or saw him and tried to get rid of the body, aka what he did do, they think that Okubo was undoubtedly the killer regardless. The only thing Shono didn't account for is a lawyer who could actually win the trial and let him walk, you know, me. So after it, people could start to think that Shono did kill the guy. In that case, Shono would have to stab Okubo's girlfriend a couple times, use his world-class medicinal skill to inject alcohol into Okubo's bloodstream, and torch the whole apartment building in the middle of the night. TLDR, I was in the right for everything I did, and you killed 2 people. I don't think that he's the mole though. Even though that was entirely a delusion whispered into my ear last night by Canaanite god Moloch and I don't have any evidence, Shono doesn't seem to be able to argue against any of it, so I'm probably right and it's time to go. After me and Sugiura pay off our fines of 2 charges of trespassing, 2 charges of criminal impersonation, 40 charges of assault and battery, and 2 negligent homicides. I might have hit them too hard. I meet Okubo so I can cry. After an unspecified duration of time later, we are in Dream Minecraft's white van trying to spy on Higashi in order to find Hamura again. So we have to do another progressively worse tailing mission involving these 4 separate guys, all of which keep getting stuck on terrain, but it keeps counting down if I'm not looking at Higashi, but I can't get past him because he's stuck. Move! I didn't even fail here, but this footage still makes me angry. The footage itself is angry, it got corrupted. Higashi is still on our side, sure, but the family is still looking for me, so in order to lure out Hamura, I have to act, vulnerable and submissive.
You look weak as shit out there. You're like a baby sheep or something.
I don't even want to say it anymore, like they just set it up, you know? It's fine, I'll take any excuse to get drunk. Full bottle of Jack Daniels down the hatch. So after a while of beating up the mooks, I am led to the burnt out district where Hamura pulls up with a gun. I guess I just didn't think he'd do that. Kaito ends up getting shot and kidnapped while Dream shows up to bail me out, and we trace them back to Hamura's sissy hypno chamber at the Soleil building, but then I get a text and the cane right. I forgot about that. Hold on a minute, I gotta go. So when I come back to break in there, we are met by Cane Man alongside his knife cane, spear cane, and House MD convertible shotgun cane. Eventually, when I off that guy, I show up to meet Hamura and... Okay, yeah, sorry, you just kind of left yourself open, and you know, it just kind of... Jesus Christ, man, are you just gonna keep falling for that? Don't let me do it a 5th time. Don't let me do it. So after doing it, my sort of dad, Matsugane, walks in and hands me the gun as I hit the thuggest pose imaginable and take Hamura's life. Whoops. We decide to take him to that rival Yakuza stronghold that we met Kajihira in, under the promise that they get to kill him afterwards. Good, honestly, he touched me. So after plopping him down in the interrogation room, I get the chance to take a rain check before our next 40-minute info dump, so I did, and I want to introduce you all to someone. Is it that Cane Man, I hear you say? Well, yeah, and he apparently has dissociative identity disorder stemming from childhood trauma from his parents hating him and calling him Cane Man. We've met most of his other alters, which each stab you with a different cane, but Ryo Suzaki just enjoys the finer things in life, like unemployment and training his liver until failure. We are great friends. But anyways, time to get back to work. Rooftop guy, get the snipper ready. The what? I have the client list. So to start, the mole is just about the most skilled assassin this side of the Pacific. Hamura hired him as soon as he got involved in the dirtiest Yakuza work he could find. The first job, of course, was the first time the ADDC contacted him to bump off the vice director of the company, who Kajihira bribed. So that's confirmed, but where did he get that kind of cash? A while back, he met with G-Man from the ADDC to abduct between 1 and several million people until they reached this classified goal of theirs. In exchange, Hamura will get unlimited funding, and of course oiled up fanboy. Armstrong, Kido, and Shono were there for the deal. Hamura additionally confirms that they killed Shintani for catching on. Ayabe didn't do that. He does not, however, tell us who the mole is. Do you really not know? I mean, they had to have been hired after the deal, so not these 4, but he's still gotta be someone who knows what the ADDC is, but they also have to have some connection to crime in some way. Oh wait, hold on, is that sulfur? Hamura turned the Matsugane family into religious extremists in the 40 minutes the boss wasn't looking. So after punching my way to the front of house, I meet a bunch of level 1 grass eaters and ask for Matsugane's gun again before... Hey, what's up guys, it's me, the Underminer. I gotta kill you, Hamura. Whoops. Ah, foiled again! No!
Hamura, let Yagami have my will. Broke boy ain't hustling.
Can't! I spent the money on those androgynous body pillows and the Justin Bieber hush money!
Wait, you're the gay one?
No, it's just, I'm just into their feminine features, Boss! That was all you, man. You could've lived.
The mole is Kuroiwa.
Oh, Kuroiwa! Police chief is actually a real big fan of us. Maybe kill yourself? Like, just a little? For me. And then Kuroiwa shows up again and tells me to step out with him. How about you, huh? What if you kill people? Oh, hi, Pookie. Oh, Yeah. I just need a few questions answered. Say, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning? You're gonna have to arrest me. Alright, let's get to the brass tacks. Why'd you kill those people? No, you killed 6 people in the foyer. That's what we'd call a red herring. My problem is that you killed 6 people. Hasty generalization at best. That's a pretty good sample size. What killed them? Bullets. Genetic fallacy. Your gun? Guns don't kill, bullets do. Not if you throw them real hard, they don't. Alright, I think we're done here. So, Yagami-chan, not involved in local fire, did see it, paid his skinny jeans a bit. Hey, my mom's busy. Can you take me to the apartment dance recital?
Get out, your ass is mine!
Well, that's my shift over. After fighting the Keihin clan's final edition, Koga, he sucks, hate that guy, I woke up next morning to a call about the Kuroi Mole's newest victim. Remember Rooftop Guy? He survived last night's raid just so he could die like 6 minutes later. And when I checked out the scene, all the smelly hobos started death glaring at me. Honestly, for a myriad of reasons, but I'm unmedicated, so they must be sleeper agents. About a week later, nothing has ever happened. We're merely biding our time before I have to defend Ayabe. However, Kajihira did invite us to the fancy restaurant to tell us 2 things in exchange for a job well done. First, I better hurry up because Shinpei Okubo is getting disemboweled really soon. And second, that guy Kido at the ADDC is known for several HR violations and as such would definitely fall for a honeypot. I know just the femcel. This again, huh? Alright, new objective. Have Kido clinch the gyat mid-interview and get it on the spy cam. Don't worry about Saori either. She's too emotionally psychotic to care and also an adrenaline junkie, apparently. Cue the most uncomfortable conversation I have yet to facilitate. I say this because on this YouTube channel, I will facilitate worse. Excellent, we got him. Now it's simply a matter of luring him into the town and jumping him with his guys. The 4 of us. But remember when I said that allies match your damage output? After which, I tell him to get into the white van, look him dead in the eye, and then say,
I never said it wouldn't hurt you.
Cut to the runner-up on the most uncomfortable conversation I facilitated. I tell Kido all I know about the ADDC, and he just about confirms all of it. So we were right about the hit on the vice director, the human experimentation, and the killings of both Waku and Emitera. You did No, stop! But specifically, Kuroiwa the mole guy was ordered to conduct all of the experiments in a secret lair in the city block apparently, and to find it, we got a tail G-man. Big fan of how you tweaked out there, Sugiura, you're coming with. So after the final and worst tailing mission mercifully chooses to end and I put the gun down, we track the lab to one of Hamura's old freak chambers. So after denying these people their squatters' rights, I head upstairs and see... That's fine. He's probably not getting lynched on the 2nd floor. So after not handling that, I encounter whoever this guy is. He was definitely cheering after the trial. Eventually, we stumble into what looks like the testing room with the executive Sneeko sofa, the used needles, and the Amogus chair for when you want to get sussy. I've got my doubts because all of this, down to the used needles, can merely be explained as Hamura's home office, but when Shona walks in, we've got our proof. So what are you doing? What are you...
All my evil plan!
Wait, no, not again, no!
It's come together!
Dream, stop!
I will have them executed! Executed! If they say another bad word! Another bad word!
So Chief Prosecution ignore Morita and the cops pull up and proudly declare that absolutely no crime has ever been committed here, and they don't need to bring in forensics to find the DNA of both the mole victims and a lot of Hamuras. Oh, they know, and they don't want to stop the AD9 development, but that's when I mentioned that me being here is technically trespassing, so he doesn't have a choice but to block the area off. Or not. They were just here for a LAN party, and I have been posthumously invited to it. Time to go home. Furthermore, at the arcade, Kaito and Higashi have been paid a little visit.
Hi.
Yeah, that was a disaster, so I decided to ask Dream what that was about, and apparently his real name was Fumiya Terasawa. You know, like the other ginger. Oh. Because I got his sister killed, he apparently started hating society, that's verbatim, started up the Assassin's Creed fanboy thieves, promptly quit and made up a fake story about working for Kajihira as he joined us. Also, he could eventually beat me up. That apparently changed when we found out all the mole secrets, and when back at the ADDC's parking lot, I told him how sorgy I was about my courtroom malpractice getting Emmy set on fire, and also, learning to handle. TLDR, that's what the point of the mask is. Anyway, so Mafiu saw what went down in the freak chamber, right? And she believes that Morita has some backstory that explains why he wants this drug finished so badly. Because 89 could be finished legally, it's just getting fast-tracked by these people because of the good they think it'll do. So after a casual inner-city walk, we meet her inside man, the horse guy from the start of the game. No, really. So he tells us about how he lost all his money to this hit new game called Uma Musume. You've heard of it, bet too much on me. Hono Bourbon, not the horse, the girl that looks like the horse, named after the horse. And the trainer is Kiryu Kazuma, the Dragon of Dojima. How deep does this go? So after heading to the law office, I saw that. So after leaving the law office, I met up with that Izumita prosecutor because apparently he's the dumbest man on earth and didn't think anything weird was going on as he interrogated me to arrest someone else. He wasn't even in the know. I told him what happened and he's on my side now and he's gonna make Armstrong testify in court. Yeah, thanks Hall Monitor. 3 more things we have to do. First, Higashi wants me to clobber everyone at the family office again. I think I can do that. Sugiura wants me to tell Okubo that the trial now rests in my totally capable hands and also we're not gonna jump you now, trust. And lastly, Hoshino wants us to talk to Kido, who, in the tone of a man ready to get acquainted with his Mossberg back at home, goes, "I don't care, release a video, Senator Armstrong is unstoppable." I see, but I'm still going to release it for fun. Now, as a current unemployed homie, Sugiura says he's going to wait in front of my office for as many days as it takes to get ready for the finale, which is good because I have some plans. As you may have noticed, the Keihin clan have been a teensy bit of a knife in my abdomen. Every time I say the Keihin clan have been causing chaos, I had to fight 3 boss fights, now 4 boss fights with Koga every time. I didn't show it, but it happened like 20 other times. However, you can take them down in an endgame side quest. You just have to complete, all of the random sub-stories you run into, all of the detective work given to you by Saori, the bartender, and the office bulletin, and also make 50 friends. Here are some of the things I did. Convince the rooftop jumper on the top of my building not to value his life, but please do it somewhere else. Stop the perverted twisted trio, including the drone-flying panty professor, the Olympic sprinting Ass Ketchum, the wall-crawling Judge Peep and Creep, and the newest addition, serial rapist Giant Impact. A bit out of that ballpark, but hey, it counts. Had needles stuck into my neck, as would the deranged and conspiratorial acupunctural society would label as a massage. Learned how to play mahjong, realized that when you know what's going on, it's somehow even worse, and promptly learned how to cheat at mahjong, and finally completed a bit of drone racing and then had to find 50 QR codes around the city. With that done, I was able to stop the Keihin clan's weapon trafficking hustle with 4 lunatics, Mr. Trying to Hit Me, Ryan, ProZD, and Cane Man. This quest is pretty fun. Don't attempt to do it. Excellent work, everybody. They won't be bothering us anytime soon. I'm gonna annihilate Kim. But hey, now that I'm here, I guess I should do the Amon fight. In every Yakuza game, once you do everything else, one of the members of the Amon extended family will challenge you to a death battle for being the protagonist. I don't usually do this, it's not worth it. And in this game, Shin will domain expansion you to his particle effect hell, skipping your health bar entirely by attacking your frame rate. That's pretty bad, but I've got the optimized copy of Judgment. Do you want to know what the noir version's like? Alright, so time to get to it. Izumita's at the law office and he got Senator Armstrong to testify. I don't care. So we need to find Morita again to tell him about the, whatever the horse guy told us, and apparently he's just a short walk away in the middle of busting that gambling hall under Koi Bride. Morita asks me if I knew about this.
Wow, I had no idea.
It was a legal government? What that's that? I ain't heard nothing about that.
Now in the basement, Strider 2 and the LRSSG briefing man argue about old people because the fire does the iron tempering as suggesting his temptation, and Kuroiwa shows up. Hey Pookie. Oh my god. Morita, I'm turning off my body cam. Would you kindly get me a warrant for Yagami's cardiac arrest? Kaito, if you don't let me have this, I'm gonna scream and cry. The answer is hungry, Yagumi. That's how you'd feel. Hey, you wanna hit a really cool pose? Oh yeah. What were we both even aiming for? No clue. Gades and Lentilgen, I want to announce that everybody is kung fu fighting. Because Kuroiwa's Moonlight business has gotten him enough street cred for him to manifest your moveset if it was evil, which is a peak combat design choice for a final boss. And Shadow the Hedgehog is always more fun to fight than Old Guy with back pain and a glock. He can even do my wall attacks. Kind of, but for him to take away my ability to invest my savings on red, I simply cannot forgive him. R1 plus trying. Realizing that he's entered a cutscene, Kuroiwa pulls out his gun that can now do realistic damage until Morita shows up and says that the Yakuza are outside throwing rocks. Indeed they are. Higashi pulled some strings to get the family to back us up, and Hoshino is also there.
Iron burns temptation, while the just are often tested by fire. Huh?
All my friends are here actually. Genda and Saori, Horse Guy, Hattori and his cringe comp, and the mole. How's it going, Talk? I'm straight now. Wait, why? Ever since the boss died, I realized women do kind of look like femboys. Okay, I've got my old Discord chat logs right here. I want you to make this right. Yeah, no, thanks. It's me and Armstrong talking about killing people, dude. You need that. Oh.
I do like Fuda though.
It has been 1 month since that day, and we have sent images of the secret testing lab to the press. Apparently, absolutely nothing else has happened. Here's the plan. I'm gonna defend Ayabe in court by forcing Senator Armstrong to admit to Operation Tecumseh, thus exposing the 89 experiments, the mole's identity as Kuroiwa, and Shinpei Okubo's innocence. I like to pretend that I have any evidence to do this. Good thing that both prosecutors are on my team, and I'm having the judgment inconspicuously blended to the jury. So I decided to retell the entire plot of the game. On the YouTube video too. So alleged murderer Ayabe shows up to the stand and says nuh-uh. I proceed to mention the ADDT and how the announcement of 89 saved her from bankruptcy, but before it could legally start testing on humans, they secretly began to kidnap people so they could test it and get it up and running early, as per the latest issue of Golf Digest. Despite these secret tests yielding a 100% mortality rate, it was kept under wraps for the time being. This secret began leaking when Shintani from the Genda Law Office was told by Hamura that someone at the center was connected to the local serial killings. That someone was Shono. Side note, I don't know when or why Hamura told Shintani that. I forgot. Somehow, no one in the courtroom had begun screaming that I'm insane yet, so I got to pull up the Discord logs of Hamura and Armstrong talking about human experimentation. Audio isn't much use without a material witness, though. I mean, I did get Hamura here.
Hey, what's up? It's me, Hamura. Yagami is right. We did transport those prostitutes. Sorry, guys.
Slime him!
Now it gets good.
I said we would do 500.
Hoshino, I'm calling in conflict of interest. This is now your responsibility. Huh? Sorry, you gotta peg him if he pulls this off. Is this legal? Good luck, man. Kaito caught G-Man sending out orders for Kuroiwa to be very poorly disposed of. So we're gonna go to the scene. Higashi and Sugiura are currently bringing the whip around through a couple families of four. But now back in Kamurocho, John Judgment, Billy Bruiser, Theodore Thievery, and Chester Chivalry encounter more deep state hobo mercenaries and proceed to floor them because, again, these three are piloted by Am and only want violence. And then some drivers drove up on us and Kaito...
These guys won't stop coming on us.
I'll be crying about my dad too, but that's what they be doing. I ain't gonna hold you.
After like 3 minutes, we make it to Theater Square, and they just left one of the assassins to bleed out on the floor, and he tells us that Kuroiwa escaped and is heading over to the ADDC to murk Shono because he wants to. If that happens, the case goes cold, so we have to follow him. The whole building is under shutdown, none of the cops around here are getting a straight answer as to why, and Kuroiwa is making his way to the development wing as we're being arrested. So, time to make like Ice Cube, and Flamencio isn't exactly my first choice for the backdrop of a final battle to once and for all destroy Big Pharma, but I can't say that it doesn't work because it does. So after whatever the opposite of appealing to authority is, Kaito and Higashi say that they'll hold the lobby, so I'm gonna bring Dream with me again. Kuroiwa, apparently, doesn't need to be doing this, as evidenced by him no-rushing everyone he comes across. He merely wants to run fades, which explains why instead of shooting us, he decided to set off the video game propane tank rack. Why is that even there? Now kerplunked off the gas station car, I am visited by the echoes of the past, which includes Emmy, who begins reciting the Herman Winston creepypasta, which Dream somehow also heard. The implication of this being that he is permanently in a state of brain damage. So at the research wing, everything seemed quiet enough until Kuroiwa pulled up holding Shono at gunpoint, but he got into a small disagreement with the state, allowing us to leave. Apparently, Dream did get shot from that, but fortunately it was with a 45, which kills the soul and not the body. You know, that's good, because he's, whatever. So going to confront Kuroiwa, I utilized the bullet deflecting chemicals to get him to dump the rest of his mag. You're in my world now, Goofy. Is this what you want me to do, right? Throw it! I missed. Okay. It was always about the perks, Yagami. It always was. What is that? You wanted the Percocet the whole time? Yeah. I'm not even a cop, dude. I just walked to the department one day. I don't get paid. Spray paint is cheaper, you know that? I don't even have anything funny to say. I'm just gonna straight kill you. It's time for a totally not a Resident Evil boss fight. So Kuroiwa, sorry, reflex. So Kuroiwa, back with the traditional Yakuza hands throwing with added shirts, Kuroiwa reminds me of myself, because in a world without unregistered firearms, we'd be heroes. So I wish to thank my fellow Sigma for the good times and trying to subtly tell me he's the killer because he was bored. I can't stress enough how stupid this second playthrough made me feel. At the end of the day, I agree. Life has many doors.
Prepare yourself for a merciless thinking high-roll show! I was born to be violent, but the king was too powerful. Disgracing world is okay to you, Eto. Prepare yourself for a merciless strike! Look in the scenery stop on the back of the receiver! Is your mother with you? Is that so? She who lamented the tibaba.
You ain't throwing it away, are you, Stretch?
Silence! Roads must
job, me. Oh, he's not dead. Bookie, when I get you. My blood sugar. So apparently Kaito and Higashi pulled off the D20 charisma check and the force is on our side now. Realizing he's in a cutscene again, Kuroiwa pulls out his CS2 knife and I want you to answer this. Which one's faster? Any of these cops squeezing the trigger of their gun or Kaito throwing an entire chair?
Talos the mighty. Talos the unerring.
What's he tripping about? Is that 89? You finished it?
Unassailable. We are but maggots, writhing in the filth of our own corruption. So rise up, children of the Empire, forever!
He lied. You cannot remove the lethal element from 89. Furthermore, it's not any ordinary toxin. It's pure vril. The only life form to possibly be able to handle that much of it would be a pure Yakubian ape. Before a quirked up Japanese boy with a little bit of swag, for example, Shono, results may vary. Foolish Shono. It's late. When the secret Nazi moonbase energy is channeled into your now A50 eyes, your death becomes proof of the experimentation. So how else would they prevent that but to cut them out? So I'm at the prison again because it's time to set Okubo free. I decide to exit early so I can leave him in the room alone with my unemployed homie. Dream was taken. No child has ever survived this. Good luck. Higashi would go on to suffocate from the radiological and biological lethal materials that definitely compose the walls of the Charles Arcade, while Sugiura would proceed to get hooked on meth and inspire the placeholder for Nanba in the Yakuza 7 April Fool's trailer after an apocalyptic Letheus hierarch. And even though Hamura has renounced his ways, make no mistake, Hoshino is not safe. Kido and Senator Armstrong are behind bars, and I'm pretty sure we liquidated Morita off-screen, so the ADDC is just about bankrupt, and all of their dementia patients have been dumped onto the street, which was my goal all along. They make for good customers and repeat business. We're going to need that, because after resolving two thought to be impossible court cases and uncovering an entire conspiracy, which should definitely receive worldwide acclaim, I am right back to $7.20 an hour lowball jobs. At least until the sequel. Oh, we did that one. The beating up high schoolers one. Spoilers, but we are still broke. At least until 2027 Found Judgment. Not in Hawaii. Please do not put the neo-noir spinoff in Hawaii. Give me Sukamino with added jaywalking, or I will in-game do a long battle through the RGG office. This is usually the time where I tell you to play the Judgment in Yakuza games, but honestly, at this point you don't have to do this to yourself. Good leap.
Really, guys?